Welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time to my channel, welcome to my channel. I'm Becky and I am here exhausted. I I feel so bad because I really wanted to be consistent with uploading videos. You've got to know that when you struggle with mental illness, being consistent at anything is really, really difficult. But it wasn't just that I was being difficult this time. I actually did have a daughter who was in the hospital, and so I had to go take care of my grandchildren. And yeah, so that took the last week, and I've just had so much going on in my life. And it's interesting because I was sad that I didn't get a chance to come and film and upload. And there was something that was like, you need to upload pre-videos. And I even discussed that with my mom so that, if something happened, I could upload anyway. And I didn't do it. And, that was on me. I should have did that. So I'm here now. I think the things that I originally wanted to talk about, it's kind of hard right now because I'm just going through a hard space, but I feel like I've always been going through a hard space. That's just kind of what my life is. And yet, I think that what I want to share in this time is that even though I'm physically exhausted, and I'd much rather be sleeping right now than recording this and resting, I also just have joy and peace in knowing that God is still in control. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, like, I don't have control over everything that's going on in my life. And if I let my circumstances and even the people I love control my joy and my peace, I've done that. It's not good, Like I said, and you'll hear me say again and again, people who are hurting hurt other people, right? And so I have other people who are hurting around me, and also I have people that I've hurt that still need to heal, and just people who are fallen and weak. We're all weak, right? We're all fallen people who are just broken, and we're just trying to figure it out. And I'm okay with that. Like, that used to be really, really hard for me, and I think I used to feel like I was more broken than everybody else. And I feel like that's just a lie. And we get so comfortable accepting lies. But at the end of the day, like, the truth is that everybody struggles. But I can't complain and be grateful at the same time. You got to choose one or the other, right? So if I'm over here saying that I'm grateful for everything that God has given me, where He's brought me to, what He's brought me through, the plans that He has for me, how can I also complain at the same time? I mean, you could be, I guess, well, actually, so like if you are running a marathon, you trained really hard and chose to be at that marathon and you want to pass the goal. But I know that at some point, like, you're like, oh my gosh, what was I thinking? This is exhausting. I don't know if I could do this. I just want to stop. But you don't, because you know that it's going to be worth it, right? So I think I just want to kind of help people who are tired and are overwhelmed and just feel like this is all just too much. And people actually say to me all the time, you're so strong. I don't know how you do it. But I don't do it. God do it, because I am not strong. I am weak. I am a mess. But God, you know what I mean? Like, He comes through, and I'm just like, okay, I just need you to help me. And I just need to remember that you're still in control, and that, at the end of the day, this is a fallen, broken world. And, all we could do is do our best to not let it bring us down with it, you know? And so whether you struggle with mental illness or whether you struggle with just some temporary depression because it's situational, or whether you're just caught up in guilt and shame and because sometimes the fatigue isn't even necessarily everything that's going on around us, but it's what's going on within us, right? And I would say that even though I feel really physically exhausted from everything that's been going on this last week, um, at least I'm not spiritually exhausted. And for that, I'm so grateful. Because when I've been spiritually exhausted, there's no way that I could be strong in any other area. And one of the ways that you could be spiritually exhausted is shame. Because, man, the enemy will beat you down with shame. Shame is of the enemy, from the enemy, and is your enemy. Because if you do something wrong, especially if you hurt somebody, there's guilt that comes with that. And that's good. You should feel guilty and take some responsibility when you are causing harm to yourself or others, especially when you know better, right? And if that leads you to repentance and reconciliation, and it can bring you to a place where it humbles you and helps you grow as a person, helps whatever relationship maybe you've caused damage to heal. This dog is chewing on something. It is driving me crazy. Hey, stop it. But I mean, whatever. I guess I'll put some background music while it won't bother you guys like it's bothering me. But so where was I? Yes. So the issue is that guilt and shame are not the same, right? And when we get caught up in shame, shame causes us to hide, and shame is ugly. Shame doesn't say I did something wrong. Shame says, I am something wrong. You know what I mean? Like, it's me. It's not just that I did this act, but this act is who I am. This is a bad act, so I'm a bad person. And that does not need to be true. It might be true for some people who still need to deal with who they are and they need to change some things. But we all make mistakes. We all make bad choices, especially when you're tired or overwhelmed or weak, and you just, you know, need to learn from it and grow and move on. The one thing that I have learned from those moments where I've made choices and things that felt rewarding to me in the moment but hurt others around me. And you could really get caught up in a cycle of shame over that, because then you are just constantly reminded of what you did and how you hurt somebody else. You don't get stuck there. That's a hamster wheel. You know what I mean? You just gotta be running and running and running and running. You can always heal and mend anything. Well, I can't say that because other people don't have to forgive it, but within you, you can take responsibility and you can apologize. And if you need to offer forgiveness, you need to offer forgiveness. You cannot expect others to forgive you if you refuse to forgive others. Jesus was very clear about that. That's very hypocritical. And if you think, well, yeah, but what they did to me is worse than what I did, then you're probably not being realistic with you don't know how much you've hurt other people with the things that you've done. You're not them. But at the end of the day, my point is that when we work through it, then we grow and it becomes a stepping stone to us becoming the person that we're supposed to be, that we were created to be. Shame doesn't do that. Shame just keeps you down in the pit, keeps you chained to it. And instead of learning from it, you just get stuck in it. And then in that case, you're usually bound to repeat it. So I guess I didn't really know exactly what I was going to talk about when I started talking, because like I said, I did have some things that I was thinking about talking about, but I really thought I wanted to address the fact that I just kind of disappeared when I said that I had started this new channel, and I don't want to seem flaky. I can be a little flaky, but that's not my goal. This does matter to me. But I wanted to be transparent because I'm all about transparency. And right now, I'm tired. I'm so tired. And I'm about to go on a vacation. Well, a vacation, it's actually a work trip. But because I'm going with some people that I love, I feel like in somewhere I've never been. I still feel like it's a paid vacation, whether I'm working or not. And it would be good to get away. But then I feel like, gosh, I'm not going to be able to record another video. So I really just wanted to make this important, to be transparent with everybody and say, I'm going through a really hard time right now. And my borderline has shown its face. Like, there's been a few times where my borderline was just like, you need to just, cut these people off. Or if you just went back to embracing, embracing the old you, I would say. Actually, I have a name for have a name for um, my borderline when she comes out. Her name is Calypso because she is the goddess of storms and she just destroys and wrecks everything around her. And sometimes there's a part of me that feels like she's strong and she's in control because she doesn't take mess from anybody and people don't really mess with her. And all those lies that go with what you think is strength. You know what I mean? And there was a few times where I just wanted to cut people off and I'm like, I don't need to deal with this and I don't need to forgive people because I'm still human, right? But then I wake up in the morning and I spend time in God's word and I am reminded that it's not about what I think and it's not about, I think like so many times people who are like, well, I don't believe in God because if there's a God, then why does he this and why does he that? And if he this and that, then why? And like what you're really saying when you do that is that you think you would be a better God. You think that you know if you were God, how you would handle everything and what you would do and you would do it differently. But if you look around you, can you even fathom like how a bird knows like how to fly and how to nest and to lay its eggs and to protect it and when to let the baby fly. I mean, we don't know there's a point in the Bible where Job was questioning God and he was going through a hard time and he was feeling sorry for himself. And people talk about Job being a great man of faith, and he was a great man of faith, and he did not lose his faith, but he for sure got massively depressed and wanted to die and cursed the day he was born and was like, God, you need to answer to me. What did I do to deserve this? Why are you blah, 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 And God's response to him was just like, can you tell me how I set the foundations, how I have, this animal doing this? And I mean, if you were to look at that in Job, I can't remember it off the top of my head. I'm exhausted. But God just goes on and on and on about um, his creation and how he does things and how he told the ocean to go this far and come back and we don't understand it. We don't know anything about it. Yeah, we could study science and say this is how it works. But what we don't know is why it works the way it works. It has to work that way. But that's because it was designed to work that way. And for us to think that we could even remotely fathom what it would be like to be God when we use how much of our little brains do we use? We can't even figure out how to be a good human. There ain't no way we know how to be a good God. And you either believe that he loves you or you don't. You believe that he can be trusted or you don't. And if you don't trust him, you can make a million excuses in the world, but you're trusting the enemy. You may not think you are, but that was the enemy's lie from the very beginning. Did God really say not to eat from that tree? I mean, you're not really going to die. He just doesn't want you to know what he knows. And that's the same lie people still falling for today. Like, God really don't want what's best for you. If he did, it would look like this. It would sound like this. You don't think things are fair. You don't think things are just. But if they were fair, we would have been punished and paid for our sins against God a long time ago. And I wouldn't have wanted that. I don't know about you. So I'm grateful for the grace of God was the point of that. But also there is a peace that you get from being in relationship with God and trusting God that you can't get anywhere else in this world, especially when you struggle with mental illness, because you have so much going on within you. You know, you may not even have a storm, like I said, going on around you, but you have one inside of you. And you're not really sure what to do with all of it. But you don't have to, because if you give it to God, He'll figure it out and He'll open doors and He'll send people that you need into your life to speak truth into your life, to support you, to hold your hand through it, to pray for you. And so I just want to encourage you. And if you don't have that in your life and you would like for me to pray for you, you can put a prayer request below. Or you could just even say, pray for me, and I'll just pray for you. God knows what your prayer requests are. And if you just don't want to believe and that's all craziness to you, I mean, you know, that's on you. I can't, but I still want you to know that He knew you from the womb and you were made for a purpose and you're not a mistake. And even when you're tired, even when you're overwhelmed, even when you feel like you're never going to get a break, you know, there's always something going on. You can find peace in the storm. You can calm the storm inside of you, because Jesus was on the boat with the disciples. There was a storm raging all around him and he was asleep. He wasn't scared of the storm. They were freaking out. And when he woke up, he was like, be quiet. And that was it. And it was quiet. So trust me when I tell you, He could heal the storm that's raging inside of each one of us. So I thank you for watching my videos. I know this topic was kind of random and it really was just me letting you know what's going on with me and catching you up. I actually plan on having a topic to talk about next video that's not kind of just rambling, although I did kind of talk about some topics, and I'm sure they were all over the place because that's how my ADD works. But nonetheless, if you stayed with me to the end of the video, I'm so grateful. I realize that I have not been asking people to subscribe to my channel. This is YouTube, and if you would subscribe to my channel, if you're watching this, that would be really helpful for me, because unlike my other channel, that is, you know, successful, I am just starting out from scratch. And so YouTube is only going to recommend me and push me out there if people are subscribing, if people are liking, if people are commenting. So if you like this at all in any way, if you could do those things for me, it would really help me to get out there and for YouTube to start recommending me to others. And in the meantime, I plan on prayerfully uploading another video next week. So I thank you so very much and have a great week.